Snap us in, Nick. Snap us in.
Hey guys, welcome back. What the sister act? We gotta do this again. I don't know what's happening.
Welcome back to the Sister Act. We had a one. Was that just a week?
I know it was just a week.
It was
I
no.
needed more.
This is episode 8.
You know why?
Mm.
Because we put it up on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like it was so fast.
I feel like it's been a while. I
I
feel
feel
like
like
it.
I feel like we just filmed the mental health episode.
Okay. Well, again, we'll always start with thank yous
Yes.
because I know that you got a lot of messages
I
from the
did.
mental health episode.
Yeah, I actually just replied to them
Mm-hmm.
yesterday because I was really overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
with the amount of people that messaged me, kind of telling me about things that they were diagnosed with, or this was one of the first times like um they saw a doctor, or they have friends that they asked to listen to this podcast and then they went to see a doctor after it, and so it was a lot for me.
I actually got a message from somebody saying that she can't actually listen to us if she's not mentally ready because it kind of makes her cry. And
Yeah,
so she has had 2 episodes like in public where bigla na lang siyang umiiyak. So I a good
that's
cry,
rough.
a good cry. I always feel good after a good cry. But when it's unexpected, it is a little overwhelming. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
weren't expecting to cry or when you weren't expecting for something to hit you so hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like we're dropping nuggets here, but of wisdom, but it's more of I think experiences that they relate to. So again, if the topic and you read the description, you feel like it's something that you can't really listen to in public, then yeah, I think maybe
Or just yet,
or just yet, yeah,
Yeah.
listening to it in the privacy of your own home, maybe when
Yeah.
you're in the car,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
And
so much.
again, I'm really, really proud of you for that episode. I'm proud of us. So it is, we're entering last 3 episodes of our first season. We're gonna have 10 episodes this season, and we decided to do a Q&A.
Yeah, but first, babe, it was your birthday.
It
How was
was,
it?
it was. I turned
How are your birthday
33.
nails?
Oh my god.
I just got reminded because I can see them.
Seriously though, that video on TikTok has like 100,000 views. You know what? I wasn't expecting anybody to listen to it, but
As someone that struggles
short
with
nails.
short nails, I would be so pissed.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they cut it. So basically, if you missed out on my TikTok about what happened, I have been PMSing leading up to my birthday. I don't know if you know what, I'm so confused if I said it on the podcast or if I posted it on a video. Like content creation, like everything's kind of like
Yeah.
merged. Like I don't know what I said where. So I'm just going to repeat it for the sake. If you've heard this already, just bear with me. So leading up to my birthday, I was getting rage. Nag-rage mode ako.
Mm.
Like intense rage. And like
Birthday blues.
no. The smallest things were setting me off. Birthday rage, right? So the smallest things were setting me off.
Is
I
that even a
noticed
thing?
what?
Birthday rage? Or did
I'm
you
making
just
it
make
up.
that
I'm
up?
making it up. Okay.
Okay.
No, so I noticed that I was going through something
Mm-hmm.
when my credit card was for delivery.
Yes. Yes. Guys, this is what happened. Her her credit card got, what is it called?
My credit card was supposed to be delivered, and I don't know what it was, but for that certain bank, they weren't texting. They were just saying like it will
Yes.
be delivered within this week. With my other experiences kasi with other banks, like magte-text sila pag nandyan na
Yes.
sila. Anyway, I was in a meeting, and I was in a meeting near the house. So basically in the neighborhood. And so I didn't know it was going to arrive, and it did, and my staff here didn't know what to do. I gave instructions to one person, but that one person was in the banyo. So
Yeah.
basically hindi siya na-receive. And
Yes.
then there was no message from the bank.
And
And
she
so
spiraled.
I I didn't spiral. I was so OC. Like I couldn't let it go because I had no way to contact the kuya. So I was like, babalik ba siya bukas? Like that was a Wednesday. And then can you imagine, hindi siya bumalik Thursday. So the whole Thursday I was like, "Oh my gosh, where
Yeah,
is my
and then
credit
she was
card?"
messaging us, guys, my credit card isn't here yet. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why
then
do you need it today?
I was messaging my friends that worked at the bank, like literally like yeah. No, well, first of all, I had to get it replaced because it was used. Credit card fraud is real, right? So
Oh my gosh.
that's another story. But I noticed that I was set off so easily. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening? Am I, am I getting anxious for my birthday? Because I usually do get very sentimental during my birthdays. And then seeing my friends Sunday, that was Friday. I finally got my card Friday. I saw my friends Sunday and it was a very good day. But I was kind of telling them, I was like, I'm really going through it. But, being with my friends was so good for my soul.
Yeah.
So I felt like I started the week like on a, okay, sige, babawi tayo. And the credit card is just one thing, right? There were lots of things that were setting me off. Like Nico was asking me, like, when are you going to get your period? Basically. And then come Monday, I was like, you know what? I don't like getting my nails done. I feel like it's a waste of time. But as a host and as somebody who literally has to be in front of people, it is something that it looks good when you have your nails like polished, not necessarily like with color or anything, but it just needs to be
Yeah.
maayos. Anyway, I told ate, I said, ate, wag mo na siyang ikat kasi pudpud na siya. Because I filmed content the day before and long nails are like my pet peeve, so I cut it na for my content. And then she nodded, she acknowledged, and then the first thing she did was she cut them. She cut first my pinky nail, and then she was staring at me, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And then, hindi ba ikakat? Basically, then she had to keep cutting because hindi na talaga eh.
I would have
Mababawi.
just left the pinky cut and then
Girl,
the
no, ang
rest.
pangit.
Nobody's
Anyway,
gonna look at your
mid
pinky.
mid nail, she started applying my gel. She gave up. She called the other ate who's doing my
No
pedicure.
way.
Yeah. She said, ikaw na dito, palit tayo. So when the pedicure ate, si Jenna, these aren't their names, right? Jenna came to me and she sat down, confused. So say, sunod naman si Jenna. She looked at it and she was like, anong
What
nangyayari
happened
dito?
here?
So she said, ma'am, sorry, isi-scrape out ko na lang yung ginawa niya. So she had to scrape out the freshly applied gel. And like, she didn't even like do my manicure. It was just weird. I wasn't planning on complaining because it was like another thing that I was like, okay, of
Yeah.
course this is happening to me on my birthday week, whatever, right? But Jenna, our girl Jenna,
Our girl Jenna.
was so bothered that she made sumbong to the cashier. Basically, like she ratted her girl out. She was like, ano ba to?
She snitched on
Yeah,
her.
she snitched. She was like, you need to come to work prepared and you need to be on your A
Presence of
game, presence of
mind.
mind. So the girl was like, how was your experience po? And I was like,
Terrible.
actually not so good. And then I showed her my nails and even Ate Cashier was like, ganun. And then, hindi niya ako pinabayad ng manicure. So,
Well,
yeah, dude, I didn't even demand for it, which I appreciated. Like, I
yeah.
didn't have to argue. Like, I'm not paying for this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was like, it's not an upside because my nails were hideous on my birthday.
Right.
They were
Right.
not,
They
yeah,
weren't
like,
giving.
there were comments on TikTok saying that I was expecting to say it's not so bad, but once they saw it, they were like, wow. It was
Yeah.
so short, it looked like a
It's still
toddler's.
short.
It's still short. Actually, you know what? Don't laugh into the mic nga. Alam mo, I was scratching my knee the other.
Balat lang.
Wala akong like, there's
Mm.
nothing. I can't
Mm-mm.
scratch anything because it's just my skin. So, dude, I was like, oh my god.
You know that saying?
Yeah, we went to an event on my birthday. Si David, he was like, patingin nga ng nails mo. Shout out to David Gison. That man is hilarious. Anyway, yeah, and then aside from that, I injured my knee.
Oh,
So all of
yes.
these things kind of happened before my 33rd birthday.
It's really that saying,
But I do have a realization, but I don't know if I should share it here because we're like gonna be super off tangent na.
Okay, have
you
have
want
your
me to share
birthday. Yes.
Sige na nga. Okay.
It's your birthday realization.
Okay.
When else are you gonna do it?
Oo nga, sige na nga. Basically, I was overthinking leading up to it. There was so much going on, and all of these things were setting me off.
Mhm.
Stop agreeing so enthusiastically, okay?
Okay.
And I noticed, and I called Ella, and I actually asked prayer from Isa then.
That's good.
I don't know why I didn't text you.
You know, Ella's always like, yeah, Bea's gonna do it. And I'm like, she didn't message me. And then Ella's like, yeah, and then Bea and I are like, and I'm like, oh, okay,
I
sure.
feel like we just needed some space.
We, for sure.
I don't know. You're not texting me also.
I don't
This
text
is
anyone though.
I know. Anyway, so I had to message Isa and I had to message Ella because saying it
You
out
didn't
loud,
ask me for
I did.
prayer.
I didn't.
What the heck,
But
man?
saying so you're gonna hear this for the first time. It was embarrassing to say out loud, but it really helped.
What was
So
embarrassing?
basically, I was stressing about my postpartum body because this would have been my third year postpartum.
Oh,
And I think my mind was going back to 30-year-old Bea, who was a month postpartum and who had a
um,
vision of what she would look like 3 years postpartum.
right.
Coming from my athletic background and having my very tiny body pre Tyler, I literally was obsessing about going back to that when I was postpartum, like when I was newly postpartum.
Yeah,
So I think it was because it was like 3 years postpartum. It was like this, like, like milestone of
yeah,
Tyler's three, I'm 3 years postpartum now. There was like a former me that was still trying to get in the way of my current growth, if that makes
right.
sense.
Yeah,
So it was past thoughts, eh. And so when I said, I literally called Ella and I said, I don't know why I'm obsessing about this because most days I feel great. Like I feel very beautiful. I feel very comfortable in this body. I've done good work.
yeah,
But for some reason, there's maybe it's the 33rd birthday or 3 years
yeah.
postpartum.
It's
It's
these
the marks.
yeah, it's these unrealistic pressures you put on
Yes. Like,
yourself.
sometimes we announce 6 months postpartum, 10 months postpartum.
Yeah.
And I was actually doing that in my first year
Yes,
of
you were.
postpartum
Yeah.
because I realized like I was putting myself in this like race
Yes.
against time.
Yeah.
And then I realized I said, one day, I think it was maybe like 2.5 years postpartum, and I was just like, I'm done. I look great. But again, it's like you still need to fight for that theme and
Yeah.
that growth. So finally asking Isa for prayer and Ella, I knew it was bad because I didn't want to eat. Yeah, so I was
Oh.
like what is happening? Like
Yeah.
why don't I want to eat? Like why am I
I'm glad you caught it though.
I did. I caught it, but I was
Yeah.
in bed and I was sobbing. So a good
Oh.
cry always makes you so much better. But this was Saturday before I saw my friends.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure it out. I was like, what is happening? Like what
Yeah.
is this? And then
Yeah.
I got to it. And so that's why on my birthday I had such a great day. Like it happened, the breakdown
Yeah.
happened before the birthday, and it was great because the birthday I felt free. I felt very happy to be 33, healthy. I had my crabs. I didn't care. I had,
Yeah.
sorry, that sounds weird. I had alimango, like I was craving for alimango. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had, home cooked meal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was going through prior.
Okay, anyway, what I was
Thoughts?
trying to say a while ago, but you didn't let me interrupt you. But you know that saying where you know how like God allows you to go through the same thing over and over again until you like see like what comes out.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because I'm
Yeah,
like so
because it
done.
keeps like recurring, and then small things will tick you off because
Yeah.
it
And then you feel
like
like you're
he's
back to square
yeah,
one.
because he's like trying to expose like what's in your heart.
And that it's still there.
Yeah,
It's
and
still
how
there.
you're responding
Yeah,
to it.
I know. So
And I
annoying.
feel like we go through this and until we get a different response.
I think I had a different
You
response.
did because you caught it much earlier than you have done before.
Yeah, like I didn't get into my birthday like sad.
Yes.
Like I woke up saying, no, that's a lie. Like
Yeah.
I've shifted my mindset. Like I don't care that I am not my size 2 anymore. Like who
Yeah.
cares? Like literally who cares? Anyway, I didn't tell you that. And I asked Isa, our older sister,
Yeah,
if
you
you
haven't
don't.
updated me about anything.
Yeah. I asked Isa, our older sister, I said, I think because Isa and I were really the ones that went through like the crazy diets together. Like Isa
I
and
just
I,
did them on my
yeah, no,
own.
Isa and I would do diets together.
Yeah.
And so Isa just kind of telling me like, oh, babe, like, why do we keep crying on this freaking podcast? Anyway, but basically when she was like, oh, babe, like, that's so not from the Lord and he wants you to be free of this like obsession. And I think I knew it was bad when I didn't want to eat because I haven't not wanted,
Yeah.
like I've really healed my food journey kasi.
Yeah.
So my food journey was something that I fixed first. like not stressing
Like
about
food is not bad
yeah,
for
food is
me.
not bad for me. So I really fixed that. So parang being there, I was like, ano nangyayari? Parang okay. So it's great to analyze your own crazy mind.
Yes. I'm
Love that
glad.
for us. We are doing a Q&A today. Let's move on.
Actually, in relation to that, we
Mm.
can jump off
Mm.
because the first, okay, we have a couple of questions,
Ang
obviously.
daming pumasok.
So many questions and actually very interesting ones too.
Girl,
But
yeah.
coming off of what you said that you didn't tell me, a lot of people ask like what our biggest fights were, or do we fight a lot? And if we do, what are they about? So do you want to start?
No, you can start.
Okay, like what is our biggest fight? I think our biggest fight was the one in
Biggest.
biggest, huh?
Mm.
I think I think oh gosh. I think our biggest fight was the one in January too. After Disney on Ice.
I don't even remember it. Okay.
Yeah, of course you don't remember.
I do. I think I do. I think. Remind me.
Yeah, I remember because
I think you started it.
no, you started it.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah,
I remember
you
now.
started it,
I
right?
remember now. No,
Yeah,
but like I was looking out for you.
but you still started it.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, we fought, and you see, when we fight, Bea will actually. You know what? I think our biggest fight was right before the podcast.
No, right after. Our biggest fight was after episode 1.
After episode one,
Yeah,
I
when
take
you
it back.
yeah.
January 2 was nothing.
No.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Because I was in London.
Our biggest fight was this year actually.
Yeah.
In
Two.
like in the history of our sisterhood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was the
We've never
biggest
fought
fight.
the way we fought this
Yeah.
year.
And
Working together has brought out
yeah, for
great
sure.
stuff in our hearts.
But I think what was interesting about this one is we really let it simmer for a couple of days.
Am I gonna say what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we posted the podcast, like the day, goodness gracious, the day we filmed the first episode, it was already rough leading up to the first episode, all right? I was really nervous to work with her. There were some things that I was feeling
Why were you nervous to work with me in the podcast setting?
because I have not done this aspect of content creation, and there was a pressure, and I didn't want to feel small. I didn't want to feel like I was less than you. Let's just be real.
Valid.
Valid, right?
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so I was really hesitant and reluctant to start the podcast because I didn't know what our dynamic would look like because we already work so much together, right? Anyway, we filmed the first episode, and we were kind of like, oh, see, that was fine, and how did you feel about that? And so I started voicing out things that I wanted. And so I told her, I'm leaving for London next week. Can we not post next week while I'm in London? Because the thing about me is when I'm in something, I can't think about other things. My brain can't multitask. I have to be like I have to be present. It's hard for me, and I was only there a week. Anyway, she decides in her heart, she decides, because she's very excited, that she wants to post while I'm in London. So I get a message while I'm on a hop off bus, and said, hey, what do you think if I post tonight? And me being
No, FYI, we decided to post on London, but I asked the day before. You
no,
finally agreed. Yes, we were supposed to do Wednesday. I just posted it on a Tuesday.
yeah, I know, I agreed because you said that you're like, it should be fine.
Yes. But before
But
you left for London, you knew that the podcast was gonna go up.
yes, but you
Pinaaga ko
messaged
lang.
me an hour like a few hours before.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But wait, just to clarify, it was gonna go up when you were in London. You agreed before you left.
Yes, but I didn't want.
Yeah, but you did not say that.
I did.
She thinks.
We
Ito
have
na.
witnesses.
Okay, go,
Anyway,
go.
she says she feels like posting, and for me, like, I'm already there, and I was like, okay, whatever, just do it, right? If I say no, she's gonna want to do it anyway. So she does it, and in my head, I didn't know how to process that the podcast was out while I was looking at London with my best friend. And I was like, what's happening? Like, I can't believe there's a podcast. Like, is this real? And I was overwhelmed, needless to say. And Like, did I do the right thing? There were so many things going on in my head. She calls me that night after I had watched the first episode with Lexi, and Lexi was like
Enthusiastic
super
about it.
enthusiastic, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so proud of you, like, basta, like, we watched it and it was fun, and I was in disbelief about it. She calls me, and she of course is excited because it's out, and you guys were so supportive of us even from our first episode. And then I don't know, because I had unprocessed emotions, I was
Moody.
quick with it, you
She
know.
was she was not in the mood.
Okay, no, first of all, she called me and it was midnight, and she said, are you gonna sleep now? And I said yes, because I was I was pissed. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if I was ready for this. But I'm always like that. Anyway, and she kept going because she was so excited. And then she's like, I have ideas. And I was telling her, like, I don't have the capacity to think about your ideas right now.
Sure.
And then I said, like, she started talking about something I can't even remember anymore. I said, do we have to talk about this now? And then she was just like, excuse me?
Wala na. So
It was
that,
over from
yeah, it
there.
was
And
over
it was
from there.
like
And we were screaming at
on
each other
FaceTime.
on FaceTime.
So my best friend, okay, first of all, the reason also why I was upset was I had one night with my best friend without her husband, without Harry, because he went home to his parents in the UK, and I had one night with her, and we planned to sleep beside each other, like
Okay,
we were.
like this is
No,
not,
no,
yeah.
this matters to me. And so she was beside me while we were on FaceTime, and then we started screaming, and I like had to like leave the room, and Lexi woke up the next day and I wasn't beside her. Anyway, I think that was the biggest fight. What about you?
That was definitely the biggest fight because there was, okay, on my side.
I think it was like a lot of
Can
like
I share? Can I share my side? Basically,
Yeah, you
okay,
can.
for all of you guys listening, this was supposed to launch in January. Okay?
No, our first meeting was in February.
No, January.
Okay, January. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
We
Yeah.
met about this in January
Yeah.
and it was August. And I was like, you know,
Not.
wait. Oh, stop.
Wait.
You said your whole.
Wait.
Wait. You said.
Before she continues, this being in August was not purely my fault. Okay,
Okay.
but she blamed everything on
I
me.
did not. Girl, stop putting words in my mouth. So basically, let's just call it for what it is, right? Like, okay, this is a collaborative effort, but starting the podcast, can I say, was my idea.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought of the name, I thought of the concept, and I asked you to sit down with me and we actually listed out our first topics, which we did, which we were
Yes.
true to the weight episode, the mental health. We actually carried it out, which now that I'm saying it out loud, I literally can't believe it. But anyway, I was getting a little frustrated because on my end, Nika hadn't messaged me about the podcast. Basically, if I bought when I bought the mics, like I was like, I bought the mics for the podcast. Like that was me kind of prompting her throughout the months leading up to August that like, okay, like when do you want to do this? But she never communicated to me that she was intimidated or scared to work with me. It was do you see the silence? Do you see the silence? So in my head, it was interpreted as parang Nico and I felt like you didn't even want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So parang ako, I don't ever want to force anybody to do something with me. And that's why I was like, what is happening? You know what I mean? So Nika, I think, was a little overwhelmed in the beginning and she wasn't really communicating what was in her heart. And for me naman, like if I say, okay, I'll do the title, ganyan, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. When I would say I'm doing this, it would actually make her feel like she was smaller or like less important. But in
Mm-hmm.
my head, it's just like, let's get things done. Let's do it. Let's work. Let's work. And it's not like me shoving it in your face na wala kang ginagawa. It's more of like, I got this. I got this. I got this. Ganon. So there was really like a lack of communication in the sense na I was like, I'm very straightforward. If I say that like I'm gonna write the write up or I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna edit, it's not because I'm trying to pat myself in the back. It's because I just want to get the task done. So Nika had to understand that about working with me. And she now, I think the wording is even better. Like we now understand
Our work styles.
our work styles. That
Yeah.
huge fight was so necessary because that's why if you listen to the pilot episode, this podcast ended before it even began.
Yeah.
And Honestly, I am glad the fight happened.
It had to
It
happen when
had
it
to happen
happened.
because I'm
Yeah.
glad it happened during the first episode because walking into the next episodes, which were pretty heavy topics,
Yeah.
we were kind of able to do it with open hearts and like, we like talking to each other.
Yes.
But if I may say, I was so blown away by Nika in the first ep.
You're gonna make me
No,
cry.
girl, like she's so good.
You're gonna make me cry.
What? Yeah, concession. No, because like honestly, I have been in the quote unquote like I've been a radio DJ for years, like a decade. And I don't know if I just nitpick on myself and everything. Like, I'm very hard on myself. So I sometimes don't really see how I work, but I can notice how other people work.
Yeah.
I cannot objectively assess myself unless it's like an interview or like a quick
Right.
but like syempre, something as personal as this, I'm not really like giving myself it's just jahe to be like, okay, that was good, that was great, although I think naman I'm doing great. But anyway, me as your sister and as somebody who has been in communication, like I'm observing how you work in this setting which you're not quote unquote comfortable with. Ayun na nga. Guys, leading up to this, you guys should have seen her. Like she was literally a deer in the headlights. As in talaga parang, I'm scared, okay?
Yeah, like
Sinisigaw
I
niya ako,
was
parang,
terrified.
yeah, ganun talaga. So,
Yeah.
parang because she was terrified, she was kind of like ignoring it. Na
Yeah.
parang hindi
I
niya
was
follow
putting it
up.
off.
Yun talaga.
Yeah.
Procrastination nation.
Yes. I'm a perfectionist. I don't like looking bad.
Girl,
I don't like being stupid. Why do you think in the dance series she's the one that
oh,
looks dumb
love
and I
that.
look No,
It's
no, no.
true
That's
though.
not true because
I look dumb,
yeah, okay,
okay?
you do. But no, you're getting better. But what I mean is like I like to do things and be good at it.
Same. Di
Yeah.
naman.
Yes, I understand. I'm just saying that this is a vulnerable
Anyway, I don't even
setting.
know if you
You
guys
know
care
what?
about our biggest
Anyway,
fight, but
that's
this was a
all. Thanks,
question.
guys.
Good night. Good night. But again, it was a communication thing. And I think
Well,
growing
you
up,
didn't sit down with me and ask me. You
I
didn't ask
didn't know that
me.
you were scared. You were like, game, this is a good
We
idea.
had previous fights prior to that though about the same thing. And that was just like the biggest one na. You know, there's something weird because like I'm usually very confrontational and I'm usually
Yeah, it's not because
but
I'm your ate.
then parang now I was like I just can't fight for myself.
Fight for myself ka dyan. Anyway,
Anyway, next question.
next question. I'm trying to think, when we were kids.
Oh yeah, there. The next question is where we always close.
Yes,
And say I would say
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
Like kami talaga yung kakampi.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
No naman, all of us are close.
Yes.
Um,
It's just that growing up, we did more things together.
But if I may add, obviously there's an age gap, right? Like Isa and Elijah, Isa and
Yeah.
Ella. So Isa and I were roommates, you and Ella were roommates, and then obviously Ella and Elijah got close because they're the fourth and fifth. But we would always hang out as a family forced by our parents. Like we would do movie
Right.
nights and we
Yeah.
would do we went to church every single Sunday. Like every single Sunday that we all lived in the house, like you
Yes.
gotta get up, go to church. Like
Yeah. It doesn't matter how
yeah.
late you came home. Like you
Sure,
come.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sunday lunch, no brainer,
Yeah.
like that's happening together. And I think being each other's I think obviously the pandemic even brought us closer as adults. But I think we're able to explore the relationship with each other now that we're older. Like Ella and I have developed a relationship. You and Ella have a special relationship now that you live together.
Yeah.
Elijah has a unique relationship with each of his ates. Like he chooses what he shares with like each one of us. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then like we all end up talking about it anyway eventually when we're together. So I would say we are very open as a family. And I think it's healthy. I do. Obviously we have insane fights like the ones we just described, but
I
there's
think there are some boundaries to be set, but
there's
for the most part, it's pretty.
and I
Yeah.
think we are I think
We're
we're
learning.
learning. We
Yeah.
want to get better.
Yeah.
And our fight, we weren't able to fix that because we just decided to, set our differences aside. Like we had to talk to our parents about it. Like
Who?
you talk to mom and dad, I talk to mom and dad, I
I
talk to
didn't
Isa.
talk to mom and
You
dad.
talk to mom and dad about this podcast.
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
You did.
I said I wanted to.
No, you talk to them not about the fight like prior. Like, should I do it? Should I work with her?
Did I?
Girl, ano ba?
I talked to Ella for
You
sure.
talk to mom and dad.
Okay, well, anyway, if she says so.
Yun. So, hearing perspectives, hearing point of views from other family members help us lower our pride,
Yeah.
swallow our pride, say sorry. So,
Yeah.
forgiveness is always something. Saying sorry is very important in our family.
Yeah.
Like, we fight sometimes about, hindi ka pa nagsasorry sa akin. You haven't said sorry to me. And then,
It's just
and
we're so
yeah,
emotional. It's
you
like,
haven't said sorry. No, I didn't. I did. I said it. No, you didn't. You didn't say it. Parang ganon. So saying I am sorry
yeah.
is very important to
It's
us.
important and
Ito hindi
every
nagsasorry.
don't say that. That's not true. I say
It takes a
sorry.
while.
It takes a while because I have to mean it. I don't want to say sorry and I don't mean it. I'm
Sorry,
sincere.
sorry, pero di ako sorry.
Yun talaga. Okay?
Matagal yung sorry nito.
Okay, matagal, sure. Pero
Mm-mm.
nagsasorry ako.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Because I have
Sige.
to think, what did I do? How
Mhm.
did I go wrong? Where did she go wrong? Di pwede yung basta-basta lang.
Grabe. Okay.
Anyway,
Ito,
that's
this
sweaty.
next question.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What trait, somebody asked, what trait would you like from your sister?
You
And
first. What describes a trait?
no, what is maybe a quality that you have or I have that you would like to emulate? Maybe dun ka nagkukulang. So
Hindi ako nagkukulang.
never ako nagkukulang.
Never.
I would actually say that your mindfulness with spending is something that I mean, like, let's just go shallow, right? Obviously, there's so many things that I love about you. Like, you're super insightful, you're very wise, you have great insight. Honestly, there are so many like nuggets of wisdom that you drop on this podcast that I'm like, yo, like that was so good. But anyway, if we're going like just like cute, your mindfulness with spending is something that I would really want. Like, like just to be a little more practical because I am a big spender.
Yeah, listen to our our
Our
spending
spending.
habits.
Uy,
Uy, ano?
gumagana yung
What?
facial device ko ah. Oh,
Oh, okay.
pinakita ko yung
Worth it.
before and
Worth
after.
it. Okay. Fine, fine. Valid.
Admit mo.
It is
It's
talaga,
good.
guys.
It's
We're
good.
ano, effective siya.
Effective siya. Okay,
Oo.
go.
I think for me, it's the
Yung cute lang.
yung cute nang, don't worry. I think it's the like it's how you are able to I don't know how to like say it in a word, but how you're able to look at something and be like, I'm gonna do this, and you just are able to hit the ground running. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you bought your car at 23 and then you were just like, this is gonna take me to my hostings and my
Sure.
jobs.
You're right.
And I'm not like that. I'm so calculated with like the things I do, not just like financially, but everything.
Mhm.
And so the fact that you're just like, I'm just gonna take this huge step of faith, and God is just gonna do the rest. Like that is something I am so blown away by you.
It's very nice. It's not a cute one,
It's yeah.
but thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next one.
Okay, here are the next questions. There was a lot about budgeting.
Budgeting.
Living independently, moving out, and what I can say. First of all, I'm gonna say that a lot of people told me before I moved out, and a lot of people ask me this now that I say to them, is that when you move out, when you take that step of faith, because it is a step of faith, it is like a risk that you take. I feel like when you take it, the blessing follows. And my sisters told me this. They were like, once I moved out, I never lacked. I always had work. I always had enough and more for my rent, my food, everything they needed. My other friend that moved out in the pandemic said that when she moved out, she had more work come in and she didn't even have to like seek it out. Now, I'm not saying that, uupo ka lang and then you're not gonna, take necessary steps to get the work. I'm just saying, like, when you take a step of faith, the blessing follows. I think that's what happened for me. I moved out last year. A lot of people don't know this, but Bea actually helped me move out with Ella. And she helped, like, she chipped in with the rent for as long as she could. And the work came. For some reason, the work just came.
I actually
And
forgot that I chipped in with the rent.
don't forget, Don't ever forget. And you know, like I tried to help her in different ways, but at
Absolutely.
the end of the day, it was the work came, and that's all I can say about that.
For me, I moved out in 2016. I was 24 years old. The first reason why I moved, well, one was we were living in QC at the time, and Nika mentioned I bought my car in 2014.
Yeah.
I actually got into an accident on the way home, driving from gigs, hosting, because I'm a sleepy girl. Like, I love my
Yeah, she
sleep.
loves her sleep.
And I was wide awake. It was like 11 in the morning. I just fell asleep on the road. And it was a very scary instance because I fell asleep right as after the overpass
In
in
Katipunan,
Katipunan. So
right?
buti na lang nasa flat part na
Yeah.
ako. But it gives me goosebumps actually every time I say it. But that is when I talked to my dad and I said, Dad, I know at the time, especially like 2015-ish,
Yeah.
like moving out. Nobody was moving out, dude. I said, Dad, I know that this sounds crazy, but I feel like I need to be in a location closer to work. The traffic, I don't have a driver. I drive myself
Yeah.
everywhere. I need less travel time. And thank God that our parents are very open to change.
Yeah.
And being a woman in a very strict and judgmental society, let's just call it for what it is, right? Like there's a lot of pressure and people are just like, you're allowing her to move out. Like
Yeah, a
people
lot of
in
people
church
asked.
were
Yeah.
asking like bakit parang ganon. So but it was really for purely for the decision to be able to be at more gigs.
Yeah.
So
But they were also, it was also something they believed in,
sure,
you know,
yes,
like
our
living
parents. So
independently
the
and
moment we graduate, they would start taking like at least 2,000 a month. I don't know if they did this with you,
what?
but they started doing this with me. Like when
They
I
didn't
grad,
charge
they
me
didn't.
rent.
Yeah, they charged me like 2,000 a
Yeah.
month just for the practice of setting aside
Yeah.
something.
They didn't charge me rent, but they stopped
Your
like
credit card.
they stopped no like allowance before I even graduated.
Okay, cool. Love
Yeah.
that for you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I moved out in 2016. I did have my car. So if you think about it, I had a monthly ng car ko,
Yes.
which was around 14,000, and then I had a monthly na rent, which was a little pricey because I was in an area in Makati that was quite safe that my dad agreed to. Like he wanted a very good area.
Yeah.
So it was expensive.
Yeah.
It was at the time it was 27,000.
Mhm.
So parang
That's
13,
expensive now.
it's
So,
expensive now. So 14, 27,000, and then your food, your gas. So it was kind of a lot to take on as like a 24, 25-year old. But there were lots of nights where I would just be in that studio because what happened was I moved in with Isa and we split the rent, and then
yeah.
homegirl got married immediately, got engaged and married. So right before our second year, it was a 2-year lease.
Right.
Nawala na yung kahati
Oh,
ko.
true.
So I'm talking about the part na it was just me because I think that was a big growth year for me in terms of belief.
Mhm.
Like I remember the payment scheme was quarterly. So it was
Big
81,000. It was
chunks. Yeah.
81,000 every 3 months.
Yeah, that's big.
I was so
Yeah.
overwhelmed. I was looking at the ceiling and being like, Lord, like give me a hosting this week, and I like give me a hosting. I need to pay this bill. And
That's
you know
so
what?
crazy.
I never missed. I never
Never
missed.
borrowed money?
Never bounced a check, and
Yeah.
I just hustled and I showed up to like whatever gig I was presented to me. Obviously, I didn't take every gig. Kailangan naman medyo bagay sa
Yeah.
branding, 'di ba? But that was an important lesson in freelancing as well. Not kind of knowing when your next check is going to be, but just having the belief. It's not so much belief, obviously, it's belief in the Lord, but it's also you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I am talented, I am strong, I can do this, I'm going to get work, I'm going to book work. And it's a lot of like self talk,
Self-talk.
positive like
Yeah.
reinforcements, and you need it. I will say, diba, 81,000 every quarter. I always had, it was never like flat, pagbayad ko wala ng
Wala
pera.
na. Oo.
I had to have at least double
Yeah.
that in the bank. So if I owed 81,000 by March, there was still
Meron,
another
yeah. May
81,000
savings
or
ka.
savings,
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good tip to have. Like if you are planning on moving out and let's say it's 20,000 a month or 30,000 a month, right? Try to make sure that you have that storehouse before you move, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Para you have, let's say, you have
May
savings
allowance ka.
gumalaw
Yeah.
in case na, let's say, kung freelance ka nga, na medyo mabagal yung month na yon, wala ka masyadong nabobook, ghost month or what, hindi ka nagpapanik kasi
Yeah.
you still have money in the bank for your rent, for your bills, ganon. So basically, moving out, I think something that we need to say
I
before
think,
moving out is
okay.
may savings tayo.
Yeah, no, but if you are living paycheck to paycheck and you want to move out, you have to start sacrificing some things if that's something you want to do. Because I feel like with moving out, yes, you're paying more to be out, but then you're gaining other things for yourself.
Sure, the
The
discipline.
discipline, learning how to live independently, budgeting, like all of these life skills that you're not going to learn when you're really at home, I guess. So it is possible to move out when it's paycheck to paycheck, but then you have to be,
Adjust your
yeah, you have to adjust like what you're willing to spend on and
but
what you're willing to give up.
yeah, in terms of moving out and having to dream to move out, because there really is something beautiful about independence, diba? Like we keep talking about it, like having that time for yourselves, having that independence. But if you're listening to this and maybe that, maybe you currently can't, maybe that you're like the breadwinner, or
Yeah.
maybe like you're helping out at home, I just want to encourage you that there will be a time that you will have that independence for yourself, because I feel that everybody should have time alone and time to enjoy one's own company. And if that's something that you don't see in the near future, don't give up on it. Believe that you can be able to do this.
Yeah.
And another good thing, whether it's quote unquote being not being truly alone, you can find a roommate.
Yes.
So I moved in kasi medyo mabigat nga. My best friend Bea moved in with me in 2018 or 2019.
2019.
2019. It has to be somebody you super love, because it's
Yeah.
very hard to live with somebody if you don't love them with all your heart. And Bea and I, we were
Or
like
you really respect one
respect. Yeah.
another.
So Bea
Yeah.
taught me so many things because she's so clean. She really fixed up the house. Like she has such a beautiful eye for things. Like basta yun. So, ang dami ko natutunan sa kanya. Like, I'm super sloppy. Like, I'm messy. Like, I leave my clothes around. I'm always, like, rushing. My makeup's everywhere. So, that is something that you can actually do. If you can find somebody that you can stand
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Hindi
You're
pwede
not gonna
kasing,
resent each
oo,
other, you
hindi
know what I
pwede
mean?
ganyan. That is something that can actually help in that first step of
Yes.
independence, diba?
And it's also like less lonely that way. It's so
Yes,
much
exactly.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can just have like a little border. Like B and I had like
It's also
a
another life skill of
yeah,
learning to adjust to one another and,
compromise. We had a sliding
compromise.
door. So,
Yeah.
ayun, we're rambling. No naman, I don't
No,
think
we're
we're
not.
rambling. Okay, next.
Okay, there is lessons from your 20s.
Ooh, this is so good.
Yeah. And you said something really nice a while ago because you were like, you are somebody that's exiting.
I
Excuse me.
You're
I
exiting
am exiting my 20s in a
next
few
year.
months next year.
The big
That's so
You're turning
crazy.
30.
I'm
That's
turning
so
30.
weird.
It's
Okay.
so weird, dude. That's
Yeah,
what I
but I'm
was.
33, so
Yeah, but I was like telling Ella, I was like, it feels weird. Like, I don't feel like I'm 30.
you know.
I feel like I'm so
Yeah.
young and
That's good.
vigorous and
He was vigorous, father.
and then you are like so clearly in your like early 30s already and you start.
Ano?
Lessons from your 20s nga.
Lessons from your 20s.
Wala pa kasi ako eh.
I feel like I've had so many lifetimes in my 20s, if I'm being so
Yes.
real. Like what you guys see now, she's a mother and she's a wife.
Yeah.
She's a
You feel like your
homemaker.
life is put together. It wasn't
It was not.
in her 20s.
It was not put together.
And I'll say the same
No,
for myself.
I will say though that I've always been blessed with great opportunities that I jumped
Yeah.
towards. Like even being on the morning rush for like a year and a half, like one of the longest radio shows ever. If you've been here since my TMR days, shout out to you. Thank you so much for still being here. But like there were really like key moments in my career in my 20s that I wasn't this is my lesson.
Okay. She has it.
I wasn't sure if I could do it. When I got the call asking if I wanted to be on the morning show with Nico, which was in 2014 on 99.5 Play FM. So if you've been here since then, shout out to you. I was scared shitless. Sorry. I was so scared because at the time,
Sobrang
it
late.
was Chico, Del, and Gino on RX, and it was Mo and Susie,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say I don't know who else was. I know it was Mo and Susie, and then Nico was on the show. I mean, his partner left for the US, so parang wala na namang kasama si Nico, and he suggested me. Kasi may crush na siya sa akin nun. I could tell. No, no, no,
Wow.
no, no. No, I think so. I think he was like, put Bea on, whatever. But he was also very, it's a very professional relationship. But he was also very encouraging of my skill.
Yes.
He
He
was
saw
like, no, he
something.
was like, your courtside reports are great. Like, it was 2 years into my working career. So I said, what on earth am I going to share on a morning show as a 22-year-old?
Right? You were
I was
22?
22. I was
Nothing.
20, nothing. Up against people who are in their
Of
40s,
course. Yeah, yeah,
45,
yeah,
'di ba?
yeah.
Parang ano masasabi ko, ano share ko. But I guess basically that's what was told na you share what season you're in. So I was like, okay, sige, go. And that led me to the confidence to take on the morning rush. The morning rush taught me so much. The first time I went on the radio with Chico Garcia and Delamar, my cheeks were shaking. Nanginginig ako.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Buti
these
nga
are,
you showed up eh.
yeah, radio legends. Obviously, because Gino asked me to show up, and Gino and I were like, had a love hate relationship. We still do naman. Love that guy, but honestly. So if there's anything that I learned from my 20s is that you gotta bet on yourself. You have to bet on your pure ability and you gotta jump. You gotta jump and take those opportunities, even if they're so scary. I cannot tell you how many events or how many tapings or situations that I've been thrown at, or even in the Sea Games when I covered it in
Yeah.
2019, that I'm like shaking, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I can do this, I'm capable. So that is something that I learned in my 20s. You gotta bet on yourself, and I feel like in my 30s, what people see now is a more sure version of Bea,
Yeah.
because this is not the energy that I was projecting when I was in my 20s. I was very afraid to, I call myself a recovering overthinker. I was very afraid to give myself a pat on the back. But now I can be like, that was so good. And then let it go on to the next. But dati talaga nag-obsess ako because I was like, everything has to be good, 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 good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this saying they would say, you're only as good as your last board work. Board work meaning your show.
Grabe
So
naman.
if you had a bad show, it's like you need to wake up the next day
Yeah.
and do it again. So I think mine is more career.
Yeah.
If we want to talk love life, like that'll be another day.
Another day for love life for sure. I think for me, um, I guess now that I'm exiting my 20s and I'm also where I am now career wise, and not just career wise, even just like how comfortable I am with myself, my, I guess, biggest lesson would be do not believe the lie that you have to figure it out. Everything out all at once, or right after college, or you have to figure it out by a certain age. Everybody's journeys are different. And I feel like if you keep trying, if you continue to take steps, it doesn't even, like for me, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to you. It will somehow make sense as long as you keep, like putting one foot in front of the other. And I think now that I'm seeing younger people, I'm kind of looking at them and I'm like, this is what I sounded like when I was like, oh, I have to figure this out, or I have to do this, or this and this. And I'm like,
But you don't want to ever sound condescending and
of course,
dismiss what
yeah,
they're
this,
going through,
yeah,
because
but
that is a valid thought. Like,
yeah,
what's next?
what's next? Yeah.
But
And it's terrifying, right? Because you're trying to like plant good foundations for your future and everything, and that's a good thing. But I'm looking at like people who are a little bit younger than me, and I'm just like, breathe. If you just continue to do what you're doing, you'll get to where you need to be. That's, I think, my biggest lesson. And then the love life stuff for
for another
another time.
episode.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last na.
Okay.
These are the last. These are just like yes or no questions. And yeah. So somebody asked you, I think, your crushes growing
Okay.
up.
Hayden Christensen, Adam Brody, obviously, like, because everybody loves him. But Hayden, wow, as Anakin
Oh
Skywalker, that
yeah,
man,
breathtaking.
and him in Jumper, wow. The
Breathtaking.
Free, Be My Baby, grabe. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Sumter, Peter
Jeremy
Pan. I
Sumter
do believe in fairies. I
as
do. I
Peter
do.
Pan literally rocked my
A world.
world.
That man, like
I
I think that was like the first experience I had of like an actual crush on a man or a boy
a
or a
boy.
boy. Na
Yeah.
parang because I didn't really have like a crush up until Jeremy Sumter.
Yeah, because I was pretty young when that came out. So
Yes,
I
I
was
think
like,
you were just Gaya Gaya.
no,
No, you
Bea.
really found
I
him cute
love Peter
also.
Pan. Like
No,
that's
you
my
love Peter
favorite.
Pan, yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
you
when
found him cute
I
also.
found him so handsome, and he
He's so
is
cute.
so
He's so
handsome.
cute.
But my crush and the love of my life will always be Justin Drew Bieber.
I know. I think it's
Yeah.
your gen, the 95s.
I love him so
No, but
much.
like I know a lot of people in your
I just
batch.
need to meet him. I need to meet Haley. I need to meet their child.
Okay, that sounds so
I,
weird.
you know, I also pray for them.
Good.
Yeah, that's how much I love him.
Okay. I don't think I've ever prayed for any of my celebrity crushes. No.
I pray for
That's
him.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. Actually, I pray for Justin Bieber.
Yes,
Yeah,
see?
like when he was going through a lot, I was like, Lord, lead the way. Like
Yes.
because
And heal
when
him.
he was peeing in buckets, I was like, something's amok. Yeah.
I loved him.
And because
I never stopped
that
loving
was the
him.
time that I was on the radio every day and
Yeah,
like we
that's
were
true.
giving
Yeah.
news bits on Justin Bieber literally every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are were those I still love Hayden. So
Somebody asked me tips to manage your house when busy, like keeping it tidy. And for me, I don't have a tip for you. If I'm busy, the house
looks
looks it.
busy. If I'm busy, so is the
So
house. It is you know what? As somebody who has lived alone, I have actually had experiences that my bed just had like a little portion
yeah, there's
of
a shape.
like a shadow, just a shadow of a body para makatulog.
Yeah.
And then the rest is like clean clothes that I refuse to fold.
Yeah.
I refuse to fold.
Yeah.
And then pag
I can
medyo,
wash it.
pag, yeah, wash no
Sure.
problem. Fold, man, that's
Nah.
thank God my husband loves folding.
Yeah.
But like that is like I cannot. So
My mom's term for it is dinaanan ng bagyo.
bagyo. Dinaanan ng bagyo. I feel like I still am that way at times.
Oh, okay, look. I want to talk to you guys about something. I I am like organized chaos. I know where everything is. It's in like little corners. This is so
Your
bad.
makeup area is so ugly.
Yeah,
it's so gulo.
Yeah, yeah. There's a system.
No, it's not. It's not.
Look, everything, but everything is in an area, and that's what matters to me. But Bea, let me tell you, there's a trail from when she arrives or when she leaves.
That's what Nico says. If you want to know where I am, just follow
Just
the
follow
trail.
the trail.
Like yung sapatos ko,
When
yung
she comes to my
medyas.
house, may medyas, may jacket, yung bag nasa kwarto. Parang
Yeah.
ako,
There's like it's
I don't
spread out.
understand. Why can't you just leave it in an area? It can be messy, but just in
I
an
don't
area.
know. I don't know. It's like I'm shedding things.
Yeah, she's shedding her cap, ganyan.
Yeah.
And then her phone is here, then her charger's on the other side, then uupo siya. And then she'll say, oh, can you reach for my charger?
Okay, next
Anyway,
question.
next question. That's all I wanted to clarify. Ay, nawala, babe.
Did you delete it?
Yeah. I know I didn't. Okay, what schools are we from?
Somebody said, what was it like coming from a Montessori school?
Oh,
Jokes on
we
you,
did-
babe. We don't know. I don't know.
Some of the questions are a little crazy.
No, kasi parang transitioning from Montessori to Miriam.
We didn't.
I'm like, we didn't go to Montessori.
we
were homeschooled.
No, we weren't.
I was homeschooled 1 year before Miriam.
Okay, that doesn't mean we were homeschooled.
yeah, we weren't
okay.
homeschooled. All right.
We came from Miriam High School, Yellow Batch,
Grade school.
2012.
I-
Si Bea, Blue Batch,
09.
09.
Yeah.
And then she went to UP,
2013. Ako graduate.
2013. And me, I'm from LaSalle, and I graduated in 2016.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Last question.
Last na. I'm having
Unique
so much fun.
family traditions.
So, the first thing that popped up was our sleepovers. where dad would get like a mattress and he would put it in,
Oh, Holy Week.
yeah, Holy Week,
We
and
would put the
we would put
mattresses
the
in the
mattress in
sala.
the sala, and then we would like watch movies. Now that I'm looking back, I think nagtitipid lang siya sa aircon.
And yet, he made the most out
Yeah,
of
no,
it.
honestly, like he laughs every time because he knows he
He
was caught.
knows.
He's like,
He
they
knows.
figured it out,
Yeah.
my trick. But yeah, no, those were always super fun. Just kind of like making our own popcorn. You know, natutulog lang kami all together, except for mom. Like mom never joined us.
Yeah,
Nandun
she
siya
was
sa
like,
kwarto
nah, I'm
niya.
just gonna stay in my room.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was the tradition of opening one Christmas gift right before Christmas.
Yeah, you could
Right?
choose. You
We
could
could
choose.
choose.
Kasi nga as kids, 'di ba, parang inip
You're
ka
like
na.
so inip, and then like we would pray and be like, "Thank you, Lord," like whatever
I
it
never
was.
had any gifts because all my ninangs and ninongs
Somewhere else.
decided to stop
Yeah.
going to church, and so they did, all of them. So basically,
Bless their hearts.
bless their hearts, but I never had Christmas gifts under the tree, and you
Right.
know this to be true.
Yeah,
I had like one.
yeah, and that's all that mattered, Bea. Look at you now
That's
with
maybe
all of the things that you have.
that's why I'm such
The
a
Lord made up
I
for it
I literally
100-fold.
I get whatever I want.
She was like, nobody got me nothing, so I'm gonna get myself something.
Nobody bought me anything when I was young, so I'm like, I'm just gonna buy
Is
it
that
for
how,
myself.
yeah, that's how she.
Maybe it's true
No,
though.
no, that's not maybe.
Okay,
That's
it's
really
So I have a core memory.
of.
This is gonna make me cry again, but I love sharing this story because I remember growing up. Our parents, like, we'll discuss this. I think this is our episode next week, though. Pastor's kids. Our dad was a pastor. Our mom was just starting her business.
Yeah.
And so obviously we knew that there was a budget, but we were never told that we didn't have money or we
Yeah.
can't. Their wording was, mas masarap yung pagkain sa bahay.
Yeah.
Or we have food at home.
Yeah.
Or do you need this?
Yeah.
Um,
It was never we don't
Or-
have enough money
or
or
pray
we don't have money.
you pray.
Let's pray for it.
Let's pray
Yeah.
and maybe the Lord will give it to you.
Yeah.
Ganyan.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was 8 years old and I was in her stance and speaking of Christmas gifts, right? I told mom this is what I wanted.
What was it?
It was called Paz's Party.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Paz's Party. It's my gift. So I
Okay.
had a song. So basically, I
Okay.
asked mom if I could get it for Christmas, and then mom saw the price. I remember like it is a clear.
How much was it?
It is in my brain, like
Ingrained?
seared in my brain. Like I know where I was, like in the
Wait,
moment. Gets mo ba?
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
Like memories
yeah.
like that, and it was 1,200 pesos. I was 8 years old.
Mahal siya.
So that's like, what year was that? 1999? I don't know.
No naman.
99. Nica, I was 91. I'm 91.
Right.
So they got it for me that
They
Christmas.
did. I'm gonna cry.
And that was, yeah, they got it for me that Christmas, and that was the one gift I opened before Christmas.
Kaya pala wala akong Christmas gift.
Baka
that
na,
day.
napunta sa akin yung
I'm
budget.
just joking.
But yeah, so that's a nice tradition. I'm trying to think of other things that we did.
I think our movie nights, like when we would all watch together, I really enjoyed that. That's something like we all looked forward to.
A cute family tradition that we do. It's not necessarily together, but we went on specific dates with like our dad.
Yeah.
Like we would go on movie dates based on the genre because my dad loves all kinds of movies.
Yeah,
like he'll
like-
watch anything.
Like we'll watch like the last full show, like me and
Yes.
Isa, because we were like night owls.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that was cute because like he had bonding moments with each child na iba-iba.
I remembered one.
Ano?
Whenever Zara
Oh yeah.
would go on,
On sale
sale, because
or
that was the
mango.
only time
Mom would buy us
Mom
clothes.
would buy us anything, we would all go together.
Yes,
and
that's a
then
good
we would
ano.
like choose, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
that was
so good.
so fun. That's why like whenever it's the Zara sale, day one nandun kami ni
I
Bea.
feel like it's also like sentimental.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, like Zara and
I feel
being
like-
something that we couldn't afford
yes.
when we were younger.
Because then
And
I
it's
would have a
still
pile of
expensive,
10.
Honestly, it's
Yeah,
still a lot.
I would have a pile of
Mababawas
10,
yan.
and then she would be like, "Here's 2."
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's just
That was
how
a
it
rule
is.
growing up. Kung hindi siya sale, hindi nila bibilin.
Yeah, not worth it.
Not
Though.
worth it.
Oo.
Yeah.
Ngayon worth it.
And that's
na
why
siya.
I just don't buy sale. Trauma.
Bea doesn't know what a sale
No,
is.
no, no,
No,
no.
that's not true.
I like sales naman, but I'm tamad to go through it. Na-overwhelm ako. So if it's not like presented to me, like let's say if I need
Hindi
something.
siya masipag.
Okay, end to end. I like this question. It's very mindful. I'm not gonna follow it up.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Okay, no, but before that, Gen Z slang. How do you keep up with Gen Z slang? I would like to speak on behalf of the millennials, okay? Like, I would say that I'm a medium millennial, because there's
Medium.
older millennials,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And then there's you, who's on the
I'm the
cusp. You're a
last.
millennial. I'm just like right there in the middle, right? When I was fresh out of college, I was like, I felt like so many people were like always, yapping about millennials and millennials and millennials. Like, what is it with you guys and the
Yeah,
millennials?
the boomers.
Yeah,
Ganyan.
exactly. Like, there's always like this generation argument.
Yes.
And so when the Gen Zs are now that the Gen Zs are in the workforce, naturally, na bring up nga yung topic of Gen Zs, the
Right.
slang, the ganyan. And you know what I realized? I think it's a natural process as you age.
Yeah.
Because I remember telling myself when I was like a fresh young grad that I was like, I don't want to be that person that like compares. Like, I want to be in. I want to be cool. I want to be hip.
Right.
I want to be the hippity hop. Like, you
We
know,
were never naman trendy
no, we were
kasi,
never
yeah.
trying. No, but what I'm saying is, it's like I'm not going to be. I'm not gonna be an old dog.
Ano
I'm
daw?
I'm gonna be that can't learn new tricks.
Okay.
Gets mo ba? Like that's what I was
All
telling
right.
me.
Thanks,
No,
Bea.
that's what I was telling myself when I was a fresh grad. I'm gonna stay young, forever young. But it's very hard.
Oh, ano na?
It is very hard to keep
Ano
up.
na?
It is very
Well,
hard to
because the
not look
trends are
tita.
so
And you're
fast now.
like, what is this? I am
I just
so
don't. I just
yeah.
do what I
No, no,
want,
no.
and
Yeah,
I,
naman.
of
Exactly.
course,
You pick
obviously
and
there is
choose.
stuff that you have to adjust to because you have to stay relevant, right?
Yes, yes. Relevance.
But honestly, sometimes it's,
It's too much.
yeah, for me it's like just let it be, let them be young, and then
Don't have to.
you just be you.
To wrap this up as we close, next week we have an exciting episode up ahead. This is absolutely not relatable at all.
Yeah, it's not
It's not really
relatable. But
relatable
I think
unless you're a
people
pastor's kid. But if you're interested, this is what we're talking about next week. Pastor's kids experiences.
upbringing.
Upbringing.
Yeah. Um
Good night.
thanks guys.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Love you all.
Yeah. Rock on.
No, but thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Hope this was good.
Oh my gosh, just ended.